In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we are here on a beautiful Saturday night. What is going on, Miguelito? Everything good?
Let's go, bro. What's going on? I got the Bored Ape party tonight. So you already know. I actually did an impromptu Twitter space last night with our people, and I let them know that, hey, I'm going to be at the Bored Ape party, and I'm going to be shilling our Danger Close Alpha project all night long.
Let's go. Shill it to everybody in the Bored Ape party. I didn't know you did get a hold of Loud, so everything's good. You got that straight out. Mm-hmm. Dope. I wish I was still down there for that for sure. Well, Crypto fam, if you're not already in the DCA fam, fix it. Jump into the Discord, get involved, jump onto our Twitter. We got a lot going on there. Twitter has been growing actually decently recently. So I think part of that might be just from, people seeing us at the conference, people, checking out the vest, saying, hey, who's that? So make sure that you guys are getting involved. We're really excited to give this 5 ETH away. I think, what are we at? What's the count? We're around 900? Have we sold 900?
Yeah, about just short of 900. I think it was 870 something.
Okay, so we are approximately 1,600, which is still a long way away. So help us out, fam. We're still about 1,600-ish away from selling that out so that we can move forward and so that we can give away the 5 ETH. So if you want to be a part of that, there's a lot of power-ups still missing. I'm telling you right now, I took a little look-see, took a little check, and I do know there's a bunch missing. So there it is. Welcome, chat. Glad everybody is here. And let's get into it. Let's take a look at the markets. Let's see what's going on, and we'll kick it off. Let's see here.
Give me a second. Before we jump in, there's somebody saying that we don't have sound. Can you guys confirm that we do have sound? I don't see why we don't have sound.
Chickity, chick.
Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you can hear us. Yes or no? Drop us in the... Okay.
Unforgettable name.
Unforgettable.
We love you. We love you. And hopefully you can get your sound figured out. Good. Glad that it was just one person. All right, let's check out the markets, see what's going on. We got Bitcoin at 16,963, but before that, the whole market, 852.95 billion with the B dollars. That's down 0.48%. So you know what it is when the market's flat. The market is flat. We are at a dead, you don't see that often, 0%, 0.00 at 16,963.39. ETH hanging right around that 1,300 number, 1281. Running down through the top 10, the biggest mover looks like in the top 10 was Dogecoin, down 2.33%. Not a lot happening. We got Cardano. We're going to talk about Cardano tonight. 31 cents. Not financial advice, but I got to say, one of the things that Crusader has been talking about stacking has been Cardano, and I don't blame him. I think Cardano is a really good pick for something to get involved in.
And look at Matic as well, dude. Look at Matic up 10% this week. Again, back over fucking 90 cents one more time. Like, dude, it is not being held down, right? I've been trying to wait for Polygon to drop lower, below 80 cents, right? There's some levels around like 40 to 50 cents that I'm looking for. But I think that unless we have another major capitulation event, I don't think Polygon's going to see those levels. Polygon has been holding up really strong lately.
Yeah, I mean, if we have another huge, announcement or something collapses or whatever, obviously that'll go down with the rest of the ship. But I agree with you. I think it's doing really well. I think a lot of the big companies that are adopting it, we've known from the start that Polygon Matic was going to do fantastic things. The Ethereum network is already fire. And so you take the network that everybody's building upon and make it faster and make it cheaper. I don't see how
you remember when everybody was in terrible fear of what Polygon is like when the merge happens. It's going to happen to Polygon, right? Their whole thing revolves around the ETH, and they're not going to be needed anymore. They're just going to die. And since the merge has happened, or even before the merge happened, massive partnerships. Starbucks, Disney, a bunch of huge companies all partnered up with Polygon to launch NFTs, games, all kinds of things, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Get your DCA merch, guys. Whoops, maybe I want to split it this way. Here's a nice example of a nice big, I think they call this a tumbler. I like to drink lots of coffee out of it, but we got lots of merch. DangerCloseAlpha.com.
Oh, we're calling it now coffee?
That's what we're calling it. I mean, you can toss a little something extra in there, but I choose to call that coffee. It's that special coffee.
This is that Irish coffee.
That Irish coffee. What's the thing that people drink for like a sore throat? Hot toddy. You know what that is? I think a hot toddy is like water, lemon. Somebody in the chat tell me a hot toddy, I believe, is hot water, lemon, and Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, I think, and they use it as like a tea of sorts for your throat / some sort of
I was with you until you said the bourbon whiskey part. I was like,
I'm telling you.
So I've heard it separately, right? The whole hot water with the lemon, all that stuff for your throat, and I've also heard from my dad and my if you have a very sore throat, just take straight up whiskey shots, and it will literally burn away whatever you got in your throat.
I don't know about it burning away. What it actually does is it just numbs everything else, so you're like feeling better
just
about
sanitizes
the problem. Yeah,
it sanitizes the germs.
It does something, that's for sure. I think a lot of people were, when we were in Miami together, I think a lot of people were sanitizing germs at these parties. You know what I mean?
You were fully sanitized.
Absolutely. There was
you were untouchable.
No risk of getting sick. You know what I mean? We gotta take no risks. We got to be on point and ready to stream. All right, crypto fam, let's dive into it. Hey, again, smash the likes. There's 25 of you in here. Glad that you guys are here on a Saturday night. We're going to talk about Cardano. We're going to talk about Genesis. We're going to talk about Three Arrows Capital. We've got some good stuff on the lineup for you tonight. Make sure that you guys stick around because we're going to have a little fun. Let's get it. Let's kick it off with Genesis. People are all over these companies for owing out some money, and Genesis owes a couple dollars. Let's talk about it. Genesis owes Gemini Earn users $900 million with an M dollars. Gemini has yet to reopen withdrawals for users of its Earn service due to crypto market contagion from FTX. Embattled crypto broker Genesis and its parent company Digital Currency Group owe users of Gemini Earn $900 million, the Financial Times reported on Saturday, citing anonymous sources. Gemini had used Genesis as its primary lending partner for its high-yield Earn service, which allowed customers to deposit their cryptocurrency in exchange for interest, similar to a bank account, offering returns between 0.45% and 8%, depending on which token you deposited. According to the Financial Times, Gemini is working as part of creditors' committee to regain the funds from Genesis and DCG. The Gemini Earn service has experienced severe disruption since FTX contagion began the start of last month. So part of the reason I wanted to talk about this one was I was sitting at, what's the high-end steakhouse place that I ate at?
Prime 121?
Prime 112.
112.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at Prime 112. There's a gentleman a couple seats down. I'm waiting for Ramel and the rest of the crew to get there, and he starts talking to me about the markets. He's like, "Hey, what are you in town for? You live here?" "No, I'm here speaking at an event." Blah blah blah. Whatever. He ends up telling me that he is a stockbroker, and we start talking about what he does, what he's into, just having that whole conversation. And he ends up telling me that his son is like a big wig in Genesis. I didn't like ask his name, but he told me he's like VP of something with Genesis. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, like, should we be concerned?" And he said, concerned, yes, because the entire market and everything surrounding it is absolutely a problem. But he said that according to his son, Genesis / Gemini will not be going anywhere, and you won't be seeing any wild news in terms of commingling of funds, all of the craziness that you've seen with FTX. According to this man, again, anonymous source, gentleman sitting at a bar, whatever. He said that we shouldn't see the same thing from them. I don't know. I know these yield programs, Crusader, I'd love to hear from you. 0.45%, okay, I can get on board. 8%. Part of the reason why we stayed away from some of these with our money, with our crypto, had been because of the high yield, because it's unsustainable. What are your thoughts on these companies? And I don't think they're going to be able to do this anymore, but what are your thoughts on this? So they owe almost $1 billion to people. Do you think that people are just going to be SOL with this, or is this going to be something you think they'll try to make people whole?
Yeah, I don't know about making people whole. I don't see that happening, right? These companies are used to like, hey, we messed up. Sorry, we lost the money. It's gone. See you later, alligator. Right? I don't see companies bending backwards to make people whole. I do believe that whole Gemini will be solid. just for the simple fact that the Winklevoss twins have been around for quite a long time. They've been one of the first people that jumped into the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency game, and they've worked with regulators very closely with USDC. They have the GUSD, I think, as well, like their Gemini stablecoin. They've worked with Circle. They've done all these things, so I think they're pretty solid. Obviously, anything can be a surprise. But I think that they're in it for the long game. I don't think they're in it for the Sam Bankman-Fried scenario of a quick cash grab. And yeah, with regulation coming now, expect regulation between now and the next Bitcoin halving for sure. I think that these lending products are definitely going to be heavily regulated, right? We saw Coinbase, the minute they were trying to do some 4.5% something, they quickly got shut down, right? Because they're super close to the regulators and they're super close to the banking system, right? So they know that they cannot break out of line. So I think moving forward, when regulation finally hits, all these centralized exchanges are going to be heavily regulated when it comes to APY. Decentralization still has hope.
Yeah, I think we'll see some people attempt, but I think that these companies are going to have to basically file to be able to offer some of these yields, because what they effectively were doing was just tossing out kind of some bait into the tossing out a bait and a bobber out into the water, seeing who would bite on it, and a lot of times they were able to they were able to get the yield that they were supposed to have earned, because the markets were continuing to do what they were supposed to do. I think what a lot of people didn't think through was, hey, wait a minute. If you have like a guaranteed yield coming back at you at whatever percent that is, it has to come from somewhere. So what happens when this goes belly up, right? And a lot of people just didn't really think that through. And now you've got people being owed massive amounts of money. I want to take a quick break real quick to say hello to everybody in the chat. Unforgettable name always here, Michael Allen. Who else we got? We got Hodges. We got Hoosier Crypto in the house. FU as always. Crypto 420. We've got, who else we got up in here? Streaming up. Here's a new one. Cryptisha Bag Builder. Have you? This is a new one. So I've not seen this name. Cryptisha Bag Builder. Wanted to say hello to you. We've got Kendrick Richardson. I think that's one that I might not have seen. We got Shambles in the house. Let's see. Alan Griffin.
We got
My real name is made up.
Make crypto.
I think I've seen that one before. Yeah, I've seen that one before. But we just wanted to give you guys a shout out. We love you guys. We thank you for being here. You could be anywhere on a Saturday night and you're here kicking it with us two clowns. So we appreciate your support. All right, so let's talk about, in terms of exactly the same thing that we were just getting into, is people, or these companies, these massive companies, owing out money. Three Arrows Capital is one of those, and I think it's really interesting. One of the things that they're liquidating from this, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever, but let's talk about Three Arrows Capital. Three Arrows liquidators seized 35 million, and they're seeking 30 million more for Much Wow Super Yacht. That's a nod to the Doge meme, I think. But the bus firm's co-founders still aren't cooperating, a Friday document shows. Oh, here it is. Check this out. Pause. So, Crusader, we saw these super yachts, right? We saw these super yachts. Let me switch screens here real quick. We saw these super yachts blasting through the bay, right? When we were down in Miami. Yep. Come here, Boogie. Oh, see. So Addison wants to remind everybody in her new robe. And what is this thing? It's a nightgown. This is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, I think. She wants to remind everyone in her, I mean, it's cute on her, but it's very ugly. In her new robe and nightgown, to be your own bank. Make sure to, just do your own thing. Don't let these centralized entities that we're talking about get a hold of you and your funds.
I think she's been watching too many of my TikToks and started to copy my robe.
I know, bro. She saw your robe and was like, I gotta have one of those. She's like, let me get a pink one, mommy. I gotta look like Crusader. Okay, so we were talking about these yachts, and okay, here's an example. I can't tell how big this yacht is from this, but I would have said that something like this would have been 10, 12, 15 million dollars. You were telling me that you're like, no, you're not even freaking close. Like, they're well beyond that. This thing, they're seeking like 30 or 35 million for, but apparently, we'll get into it in a second, sold for $50 million. What the hell are these people doing? Where is this money coming from? I got to tell you, I had no idea.
They're building literally water fortresses, dude. These are castles on the water, right? They're on the go. I mean, these things are worth so much money, dude. So any boat here can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars easily.
Without even trying. Yeah, just like the just a little quote unquote little boat rolling down the way. Liquidators for collapsed crypto hedge fund Three Arrows Capital said they seized $35.6 million in cash held by the failed firm in Singaporean banks. They also managed to recover a couple million more from token sales and want clearance from a court to get $30 million from the sale of the firm's Much Wow super yacht. In a Friday filing in U.S. bankruptcy court in the Southern District of New York, court-appointed liquidator Teneo said they started to take control of assets held by Three Arrows Capital or its pre-appointment lawyers. Liquidators added that they also recovered $2.8 million forced redemptions of investments, as well as an unspecified amount of 60 different crypto tokens and NFTs. They went bust in July. We know all of that happened. They said the court documents said that Su Zhu and Kyle Davies have been speaking to the media, but they have largely ignored liquidators. I think this is interesting. The High Court of the Republic of Singapore this week ordered the co-founders to cooperate and submit affidavits outlining their dealings with the company. Man, okay, listen. It's one thing. It's one thing to go belly up, go bust. Your company loses, boom, bam, slam, blah, right? But there's so much evidence against all of these people, and there's no accountability, dude. Like, ultimately, I can all but guarantee you they have accounts, they have funds, they are probably more than flush. When people file bankruptcy in this manner, it is generally it is an asset protection. Like, that's what they're doing. They're protecting themselves from actually. A lot of people hear bankruptcy and they're like, oh, they're broke. I'm telling you right now, they're not freaking broke. They're not broke whatsoever. Nope. And there's a way that these attorneys are able to manipulate that. What are your thoughts, Crusader?
Yeah, dude. Right. You get successful business. They start buying these super mega yachts. They buy all these things, right? They have all these assets, all this money. And then they're like, oh, bankruptcy. We're done. We're out of money. Sorry, guys. We can't make you whole. Yeah. Maybe if you were actually managing money properly, this wouldn't be the problem. But, they love these exchanges and these venture capitalists or whatever. They love to talk about how to manage money, but they're some of the first people to manage money terribly, and they know it because they know how to use the system to just say, "Hey, sorry, we lost." Right? Companies go bankrupt, companies lose. It's okay, but they personally are not losing. They're just exiting. Right? That's their exit plan. They get in, they make tons of money, they buy up all these assets, and then they say, "Sorry. We're done here," and then they go their merry way, and then they start off. How many times have we seen CEOs of companies, of these crypto companies, leave one company or go bankrupt or whatever it is, and then go and create another one and then raise a bunch of money? It's like, you guys just saw him fail in this other venture, right, with tons of money, and then you go again and hand him millions and millions of dollars again. It's because they also know that it's all part of the game. They're not actually ever losing. The only people losing are the users.
Yeah, it is wild, man. And I hope that, I'm sick to death about talking about SBF, but the reality is we probably need to keep talking about it. And I don't know, were you on the Twitter space the other night with what's the guy's name that's doing these who's the guy doing the space right now with Elon Musk? There's 95,000 people in a Twitter space right now. Did you see this?
No.
You know who he is, Mario something or other.
Mario Super Brothers? I don't know.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi. No, I can't think of the guy's name. Nawal. I think his name is Mario Nawal, I think is what his name is. But at any event, he's doing all these huge Twitter spaces. He's getting the who's who on Twitter spaces. I listened to Sam Bankman-Fried talk on a Twitter space with him the other night, and they were grilling him. First of all, I can't believe that his attorneys let him do this. Okay. He sounded absolutely. So I heard from somebody that he had people force feeding him answers in the background. I heard he had note cards. I heard there was some other stuff going on there. However, whoever was force feeding
definitely
him
all
these answers,
pre-planned. It's not.
But what I'm trying to tell you is the Twitter space was not. It was a live impromptu boom, hitting them with, with questions. And when this is the one that killed me, when he got into and admitted openly that they were taking, that people would deposit their Bitcoin into what they think was FTX. And then FTX would effectively move money and commingle funds with Alameda Research so that they could leverage trade your freaking Bitcoin that had no liquid. He admitted this. I'm like, bro, it's one thing. It's one thing to have a small company. Let's just say like my construction company, right? I know that I am guilty sometimes of, when I say commingling funds, what I mean more is like my personal self swiping my business card for like stuff that's actually technically other than business, right? It happens, but it's my company, it's my money, whatever the case may be. He was taking customer funds, smashing it over onto another company so that they could earn yield off of that and not effectively holding the funds that they said that they were holding. God, somebody's got to bring him to justice.
Dude, I mean, it's all part of the plan. None of these conversations, you had all seen Maxine Waters, all stuff, saying how appreciative she is of how candid he is about all his answers and so forth, and all these things. Like, all these things are happening as a fluff piece, right? All part of the plan. Like, hey, you're gonna be the fall guy, right? And I'm not saying, I do not believe that Sam Bankman-Fried is the mastermind behind everything. I do think there are bigger players at hand. Was he fully aware of everything? Most likely he was, but he is the fall guy, right? He was prepared to be set up this way. It was all part of the plan that he will be the fall guy. You know, he's gonna be okay. I guarantee he's not gonna see any crazy like lifetime jail like we saw with what's his name, Bernie Madoff.
Bernie Madoff. There you go.
Bernie Madoff. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna be like him where he saw a long time in prison.
Let's talk it through. How much money? All right, so let's give you you're 30. Let's give you a 10-year sentence. Okay, 10 years. You have the same situation you have now. You have a young daughter, your wife, your family, all of that. 10 years. How much?
How much money for 10 years?
So if I literally said, Crusader, here's the deal, bro. You gotta sit down for 10 years. Okay. Cool. 10 years in prison.
But let's clarify. This is white collar crime. Okay, this is like
Wolf. It is a white collar crime.
I'm going to be playing tennis. I'm going to have my tea.
No. You're not going to.
Yes. No. This guy is not going to go with like, let's say where OJ was going to go, right? Like, he's not going to be there like, I ran a crypto fund.
Michael said like $200.
$200, 10 years. Let's do it.
$200.
I don't know, dude. I am not a fan of jail. I'm not a fan of any type of prison. I do know it's gonna be a white collar prison.
Nor am I. I gotta.
But this guy was worth like $16 billion. 16
right, but billion. he's never gonna keep all that. He's never gonna see all that.
We don't know what the backdoor deal was, right? With all the money funded to the Democratic Party, funded to Ukraine, and funded back into FTX, we don't know what the deal is, right? Let's say $1 billion. He gets
$1 billion for 10 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you're set. No,
like let's say his deal was you're gonna be the fall guy, all this stuff
for $1 billion.
$1 billion, and let's say his census is 10 years. It's not a terrible business. There's not a terrible.
No, it's $100 million of income a year for 10 years, and he's 30. He's your age. That's why I was asking the question.
That's not a terrible deal, right? And you're not paying taxes for those 10 years. Right? That's tax free, baby.
I got to tell you, that's going to have to be a conversation that happens with the wife, right? You don't say, hey, by the way.
Well, you tell them, hey, by the way, there's $1 billion coming this way. I'm not going to be around for the next 10 years, and you can't spend it just yet, but it is.
Oh, you're not going to let your wife spend any of it? So she's got to like grind by through the 10 years.
Oh, yeah. You crazy? You think I'm going to go to jail and leave my wife with $1 billion? I ain't going to see a penny when I get out. No.
Oh, my
God. Like, if you want that $1 billion, you better be here when I'm out. That's the only way.
I think a more realistic number for 10 years, realistically, I think a 10-year sentence is like a 50 million and up, $5 million a year while you're sitting there, right? I don't think we have an idea. I don't think we have a good appreciation for $1 billion. Like,
lot of money.
Right. But still, man, being away from my daughter for that long, like, oof. Yeah.
Well, she's going to have $1 billion to pay for the therapy.
And
it'll be fine.
She's got $1 billion worth of therapy coming her way. You're right. Carefree Puggles, let me read this real quick. Says the fact that SBF is not in jail right now says a lot. He's being protected. I feel this was an intentional plot to bring in regulation and drive retail investors to the banks. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot. That's Carefree Puggle. Glad that you're here. Thank you for chiming in. I think that's a new name that I haven't seen in here. Yep. I agree. I think that there's a lot of 100%.
Inside plan, dude. Inside plan to drop regulation, because you look. I've mentioned this before. If you've seen the movie Captain America Captain America Winter Soldier, the second Captain America solo movie that came out, that movie explains it perfectly. What was learned after World War II, right? In World War II, we saw the bad guys. I'm not gonna say their names. The bad guys. Right? I'm not gonna end up like Kanye.
Look at this super chat. Yo, Magic, we love you, bro.
I'll be your wife for $1 billion. Hey.
When I first read it, I thought he said I'll be with your wife for $1 billion. I was like, oh, that's cold, bro. That's cold. Hey, thank you for the super chat, bro. Good to see you. Okay, so the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier, right? They explained that the bad guys from the World War II, right, realized that you cannot force an ideal or a whatever, no matter how beneficial it could be for the population, you cannot force it upon them, right? We kind of saw the same thing with the fog around the world. You force something and people will resist. But if you get to convince people that it is good for them, and you allow them to think this is the best thing for themselves, and you give them time to make it seem like the idea is generated from within, then they will gladly accept it, right? Now that FTX has imploded, everyone is asking for regulation. Yes, please, Daddy Gensler, regulate me, right? That's what everyone's asking for now. Before, people were like, absolutely not. We don't want regulation. We want to make sure that it's the right regulation. Now they just want any regulation. And they're going to drop the hammer, 100%.
I hear it. Yeah, I think we'll see here soon. I don't think it should be too much longer until we find out whether they're actually gonna, put the screws to them or not. Because it just can't go too much longer without at least figuring something out. Crusader, let me double check something. I think
somebody said gotta leave the wifey at least 20 million. She ain't getting 1 million until she's there when I get out.
Sure.
Ain't getting
for
a
sure
dime.
with a Billy, man. I'll tell you what. I'd leave her with all sorts of money. Probably, I could probably get her to leave me alone for a little while. You know what I mean?
Well, you're gonna be alone for 10 whole years.
That's true. This is very, very, maybe I can bribe her to come see me or something.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the better option.
That's probably, hey, I'll pay you to come see me, please. All right, cool. So let's talk about Cardano. The moment you've all been waiting for. People love Cardano. And a lot of you, hopefully, have been, DCAing into Cardano. Let's talk about Cardano versus ETH. Cardano network 8 times more decentralized than Ethereum. Here are the details. Okay, I'll bite. According to crypto researcher Soraj, the Cardano network layer might be or it is. Let me just come on. Might be found to be 8 times more decentralized than the networking layer of Ethereum. In a thread of tweets, he highlights how he arrived to this conclusion. Currently, Cardano has a MAV. What's a MAV?
I don't know what they're referring to here as a MAV of 24.
I don't know either. Somebody in the chat, if you know what a MAV is, moving. I'm not positive. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up, or somebody Google that. Tell me what that is. This shows that Cardano networking layer is 8 times more decentralized than the networking layer of Ethereum. Okay, according to him, the decentralization of the validator nodes in a proof of stake blockchain is determined by the Nakamoto coefficient or the minimum attack vector.
That's what a MAV
Don't look that out. Don't look that up, somebody. I figured it out. Minimum attack vector is the minimum number of independent parties needed to join together for a successful attack on the blockchain. Oh, okay. Currently, Cardano has a MAV of 24 and Ethereum has a MAV of 3, which is an 8-fold difference. The mid-September merge update which ushered the proof of stake transition, has recently put Ethereum decentralization under fresh scrutiny. According to Siraj, validators are network nodes that operate in proof of stake blockchains by validating transaction blocks on the blockchain. This definition fits all other blockchains except for Ethereum. In Ethereum's case, there are two types of nodes: nodes that can propose blocks and nodes that cannot. Nodes that propose blocks are only a small percentage of the total nodes on Ethereum, which also includes validator nodes. The other nodes on the network, which form the majority, do not propose blocks, but they still serve a critical role in securing the network by holding all block proposers accountable by listening for new blocks and verifying their validity on arrival. Based on this, there are two entities: validator nodes and attesters. What happens on the Ethereum network layer is summarized thus: the stake is supplied to the validator nodes by attesters, while the validator nodes create and validate blocks. Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there because it's getting technical and I'm going to put people to sleep. What I want to say is that, do you agree that the way to check a network's decentralization is to look at it from a backwards point of view, where you're saying, hey, listen, how many different nodes, how many different nodes is it going to take to work together to effectively perform an attack on this? Or you like this, you don't like this?
Yeah, that's definitely a good metric, right? Because you need to know how what is centralization and what is decentralization, right? Centralization, let's say Facebook headquarters, right? If Facebook headquarters go kapoof tomorrow, is Facebook gone? Like, is it offline permanently, right? Do they have one massive server for the entire United States and they're gone? So like, how many server rooms do they have around the world to provide Facebook for the entire world? How quickly can you shut Facebook completely off? So I think that's the same kind of metric here, right? How many validator nodes or whatever you need to get together to take the whole network down and fully under control? If you can do that with a rating of 3 for Ethereum, right? For, let's say, as simple math, you, me, and one other guy, we get together, we got enough money, we can take control of Ethereum. Versus, hey, we need 24 whole people, right? Let's imagine it as people. We need 24 whole people to all coordinate and say, yes, we're going to do this. It's a lot more difficult. Not saying that it's foolproof, but the more it requires, the more effort it requires, the more decentralized it is, the safer it is from getting some type of, 51% attack or whatever it is, and someone taking over control of the network.
You know what else is pretty centralized is this stream. And I got to tell you, between the two of us, one of us on the stream, can't tell you who, but one of us has messed up the time of the Twitter space that we're supposed to be on, not once, but now twice. I could have sworn he was on Central Time, right? Now he just said, no, it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Crypto Fam, we are about to be on a large Twitter, well, I'm hoping it's going to be a large Twitter space. I can't guarantee that. We will drop the link down into the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, make sure to jump in the Discord. You've got to have the opportunity to win the 5 ETH anyway. We're almost at 1,000 mints on the commodities. So make sure that you guys get in there. Listen, where else can you spend 0.01 and have the opportunity to win 5 ETH? It's just not a reality, right? But it is a reality with Danger Close Alpha. So get involved. We don't come up here wearing these vests for nothing. We stay strapped. We stay ready. We are ready. We are prepared. We're preparing with you, for you, together. Super excited about it. So Crypto Fam, we love you. You could be anywhere tonight, but you are with us. So thank you very much for being here. Just remember,
ADA's going to save crypto.
Maybe. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll see.
I think there's a chance.
Chance. We shall see. There's always a chance. Question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl
like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.